So this UK drill rapper yesterday appeared in court for his involvement in the murder, I don't know if we're going to call it a murder, of a known singer, a singer who's a nonce that was jailed. He was sentenced to 29 years in 2013. Ian Watkins. Two men have appeared in court charged with the murder of nonce singer Ian Watkins, and you know he was a part of that group, the Lost Prophets, the former Lost Prophets frontman, serving a 29-year jail sentence. He was fatally injured in an incident at Wakefield Prison. This is HMP Wakefield. You know, it's somewhere around here. You don't care. You don't need to know where the prison is, right? You don't need to know where the prison is, my people. You don't need to know. Rashid Jadel, who is also known as Broadday. I don't know if that's a play. I don't know if he's meant to be called Broadday. Yay, you know, I'll do it Broadday, but I'm good with the yay. I don't know if that's a play on words there. Him and Samuel Dodsworth both appeared at Leeds Magistrates Court. This is Leeds Magistrates Court. I like just, you know, seeing things. Obviously, these guys are both from London, but because it's taken place in a prison, they're going to go to the nearest magistrates court, and the nearest magistrates court was Leeds Magistrates Court. Watkins was jailed in 2013 for a string of child sex offenses. Yeah, I don't know what evidence they've got on these two, but they say that these two were responsible. And it makes sense because these two have nothing to live for. They have nothing to live for. Let me show you this guy, freaking Samuel Dobson, just so we know who we're dealing with, all right? Because this guy is no angel, you know? All three of these guys need to be off the streets, bro. It's a good thing that all three of these guys are off the streets, because Samuel Dodsworth, Derby rapist and kidnapper, jailed for 24 years in 2018. This guy kidnapped a 52-year-old woman, brought her back to his flat, threatened her with a can opener, and raped her 5 times. Now, I'll say this, guys. There is levels to evil. You know, there's levels to evil. You know, this singer was charged with attempted rape of a freaking baby. You know what I mean? This guy's bad, but the singer is worse. But this guy is still, you still both deserve the death penalty. You still both deserve whatever the worst things that humanity can throw at you. You know what I mean? Because we've even got broad day. Now, this guy ain't got nothing to live for because he's a piece of shit. This piece of shit. And one common thing is, you know, in jail, I can hear why they would do this because both of them have nothing to live for. And when you're in jail, you're the bottom of society, bro. You know, you're actually the bottom of society. And, you know, I'll tell you guys this, like, big up RTM, big up Young Spray, you know what I mean? Every time. But when I was on that podcast, bro, it was while I was on that podcast that I came to the realization, like, oh my God, these guys actually glorify jail. Like, it's actually stripes. If you get stripes if you've been to jail. When I'm growing up, I'm thinking the plan is to not get caught. You know what I mean? Ain't none of my niggas been jail. One of my niggas been jail. Ask the last time I've seen him. I ain't spoken to that guy in years. You know, he's my guy. Gave him bread when he got released. He kept it solid, but I ain't chat to my man in years. I've distanced myself from him. It's not no bad blood, but it's like, the way I see it is if you're going in jail, you is who you hang around. So I'm going to end up in jail if you're going in jail. So if you've been caught, bruv, love for keeping it solid. Here's this when you come home, but you know what I'm saying? We got to keep some distance there because I ain't trying to end up in jail. You get what I'm saying? So this guy has nothing to live for. And Broad Day, yeah, also known as Rashid Jadel, was convicted for murdering an aspiring lawyer. This was a case of mistaken identity. And in April 2025, him and his Cody, they lost their appeal. They tried to appeal their sentence because these two got life sentences. The police, the courts, they're not playing with you gang members, bro. When it impacts civilians. Not playing, bro. They're not here to play with that shit anymore. And they shouldn't be playing with it, bro. You'll see me defending Billy Billions because in his case, the police fabricated evidence. You know what I mean? But in this case, bro, you've ruined so many people's lives, bro. And over what? You're looking for ops for what? Like, you're looking for ops for what? Why? Because they did that to who? Why did they do that to who? And then when you get to the first cause, you realize it's over some fucking dumb shit, bro. It's over some dumb shit, bro. I've been having this conversation with you guys for like a year now. For like a year, we've been going over and over and over and over. You know what I mean? We've been going over and over and over the same shit. But they lost their appeal. So they're doing life in jail. So I reckon Rashid, aka Broadeye, and Samuel Dobson, this piece of shit, you're both pieces of shit, but you're nowhere near the same level as this guy and the guy that you killed. All right? You are like Broadeye, hey, Rashid, you are in jail. If this helps you get through it, bro, you're up here. My man who you did it with is here, and the guy who you dead it off is here. You know what I mean? You're better than them two, all right? If that helps with the sentence, bro. But, fam, both of them lost their appeal. Well, he lost his appeal, so I reckon that's why they've done this. And God knows how long they're facing. You know, God knows how long they're going to be facing, what's going to happen here. It's just, yeah. Because he released a couple of songs. You know, Broadeye. It's from South Kilburn. You know, they recorded the video on Kilburn High Road. Yeah, he's been, I mean, it was known this happened in 2021. He got put in jail in 2021. This was crazy. You know, I'll read you guys exactly what happened here. Stephen Badzak, 22 years old at the time, was stabbed to death in Kilburn High Road as he walked home from a shop with a friend on February 6th, 2021. Broadeye from Ilford, was convicted of his murder, as well as GBH against his friend, then age 16. They're both serving life sentences with a minimum term of 27 years. They went to the Court of Appeals to argue this was too long. The nerve, too long. When you've ruined countless lives, bro, you know what I mean? Not, and including your own lives you've ruined, you know, but his life, his family's lives, they're never going to get over this. One of their arguments was that the sentencing judge had been wrong to say that they intended to kill him. At their trial, the jury was told Broadeye and his Cody walked into a bakery in Kilburn and stared at two females at the counter before leaving without buying anything. Detectives believe they were actively looking for someone to attack. Him and his friend were walking along the same road at the time, and they approached them from behind. Another man, Harvey Canavan of Walterton Road in Maida Hill, also joined the two after walking on the other side of the road. When they reached the victims, they were heard asking, "What are you on?" before stabbing him in the chest, and the second victim in his back. The victim fled a short distance before collapsing in the street, where he was reportedly punched and kicked by the defendants before dying at the scene. Now, here's the thing. If you're arguing you didn't intend to kill him, if you didn't intend to kill someone after stabbing them in the chest, right, that's what it says. After stabbing someone in the chest, if you don't want them to die, you're going to call police. Not police. You're going to call an ambulance, bro. You know what I mean? You're going to call an ambulance. Even if you just tell someone, yo, call an ambulance, run, you're not going to kick them while they're on the floor. So that's why they've got you that's why they've been able to prove the intent. The appeal judge, Dodd King's Counsel, said there was no lack of logic in the trial judge's conclusion that they had intended to kill him. Their appeals were therefore dismissed, and their sentences were not deemed manifestly excessive. I don't think it's enough. I don't wish prison on anyone, but this is the only way to get, for the victims' families to get some sort of justice. It still don't feel like enough. Now, they're saying that Wakefield Prison it's a high security prison housing some of the UK's most notorious offenders. Currently holds more than 600 inmates. A report on conditions within the facility, which were published last month, said violence had increased. I mean, let's take a look. Is it privately owned? Okay, the prison is publicly owned, you know, because these private prisons, I think was it HMP Birmingham, where I think Remtrex, if you guys know Remtrex, he was featured in a documentary there, I think, because the prison was so bad and it was run privately. So I'm not sure. So I don't think the prison is owned publicly. Well, it's not owned privately. It said the infrastructure was in a poor state, citing repeated breakdowns of essential equipment and some significant elements of the prisoner's perimeter security systems. Among those currently serving time at the prison are believed to be Roy Whiting, who murdered 8-year-old Sarah Payne in 2000. Yeah. Reynard Singer, who was convicted of 160 sexual offenses against 48 men. Bruv, and even doing that, I mean, it's worse doing it to women, but men who have to deal with that, bro. Like, really and truly, can you ever get your manhood back? Can you ever get it back? I do wonder that. Like, because even if you kill the guy, like, yeah, but Is that going to let you get your manhood back? I don't really know. But another question people are asking is, how the hell was Broad Day? I'm just taking a piss saying his name, whatever. Why was he on the same wing as these two sick fuckers? You know, because he was convicted of murder, but why was he on the same wing? There was some people who've been in prison saying he was on he must have been on the vulnerable prisoners wing or something like that. But from what we know, Broad Day, he's not been convicted of anything. You know, I mean, he's murdered an innocent civilian, you know. But apart from that, not a rapist, not a nonce, you know. So we're not going to attach his name to that. If that helps, you know, if it helps in the grand scheme of things. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Chung Lee says all three of them can just rot in prison. And I'm sure a lot of people will agree with you, Chung Lee. Fuck it all. Yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace and love to every single one of you guys watching. Yes, let me know what you think, honestly. I mean, yeah, it's just shocking news, I guess. Just shocking. Fucking all.